SNDF actually is commemorating the 75th commemoration of the Battle of El Alamein that was fought in 1914. To be specific, it started on the 23rd of October till the 4th of November, meaning it's 13 days of the battle.
It's so wonderful to see so many of you here to celebrate 75 years since the Battle of El Alamein. That so many nations have come together is truly wonderful to see.
both sides, fighting to survive, fighting for their cause, fighting for their mates. Over days and days of desperate struggle, they fought each other to a standstill. Eventually, one side prevailed, breaking through, the other retreating in defeat. Like battlefields, cemeteries and memorials around the world, silence around us belies the violence and the heroism and the tragedy that was fought out here at El Alamein.
First and foremost, to represent Chief of the South African National Defence Force, General Shoke. Soldiers who died here, mainly army soldiers, army representing the land forces. This is the blood of the South African soldiers, a resolve of our people to sacrifice for the best of humankind and for the prevention of conflict as part of the international community. With their own blood. Exactly the point. Besides the SS Mendi tragedy, this here has got more numbers of what was called the Native Corps, which means a number of the black soldiers across our blackness, mainly African, and also in what is in South Africa called Coloureds, and probably those of Indian descent. Now, here lies a number of the members of what was called the Native Corps at the time, which therefore is in content is the black soldiers who all of a sudden we know about, and they were hidden. They've been there in the books of history, except in our country. Now, everybody knows about them. And we are not only commemorating because it's them here. We are commemorating because the South African blood was shed in preventing fascism in this war. That is why we're here to confirm and to give hope to those soldiers who still live and are involved in conflict now, as we speak, elsewhere in the continent. They know we mean it when we say we will remember them. We will not forget anyone of ours who sacrificed on behalf of our people and for the sake of their future prosperity.
I now invite the South African High Commissioner to Egypt, His Excellency Ambassador Vusi Mavambela, to deliver the welcoming address.
My small role this afternoon is to welcome you to this ceremony, which commemorates South Africa's participation in the Battle of El Alamein that took place 75 years ago. South Africa participated under the banner of the Allied and Commonwealth forces. This is a battle that in many ways than one ultimately changed the course of the Second World War, and by so doing, forever changed the course of history. Today we stand with great humility and deep reverence upon the graves that stand as a monument of resolve to human freedom. This monument separates forces of darkness from those that bear the torch of enlightenment to the world.
Honorable Ms. Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngakula to deliver the keynote address.
On this solemn occasion of the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the Battle of El Alamein, I greet you all. We gathered here to pay homage to the fallen soldiers of this battle, all of them lying in these killing fields, but in particular South Africans. Our country's participation in the war effort was as a colony of the British Empire and member of the Commonwealth of Nations. Now, the question to ask is, what is it that drew South Africa to have several elements of the Union Defence Force deployed in the battlefields of North Africa in the campaign against the Nazi Germany? This is pertinent to ask, especially as South Africa lost plus minus 500. At the same time, there are more than 1,200 missing in action. So those soldiers were unaccounted for. In every battle of war, there is always an objective. In this case, it was a concerted effort to prevent the control of the Mediterranean Sea routes and in the region from being taken over by Nazi Germany. For the Mediterranean forms the critical strategic link with the East through the Suez Canal and Middle East oil supplies and the supply routes to the then Soviet Union through Persia. There have been many battles during the course of the Second World War. But why is there always attention paid to the Battle of El Alamein, both the first and the second one? This is because it was a turning point in the history of the Second World War, as it has been alluded by our ambassador. And South Africa must be proud of having been part of those battles as part of the war effort and making of history. It marked the defeat of Nazi Germany's infamous Field Marshal Rommel, who commanded the Axis forces. The commander of the Allied forces in this theater of war, General Montgomery, who had been handed command of the Western Desert Theater by Winston Churchill, declared as they were making the final assault that, and I quote, "We will hit Rommel for 6 out of Africa," close quote. But with all these battles, the second battle, which also came to be called one hell of a battle by the South African contingent that was in this theater, South Africa's racial dynamics could not escape, even so far away from home. From the southernmost tip of the continent to the northernmost high, the South African elements that were part of the Northern Africa expedition comprised of no less than 28, ranging from the 1st Infantry Division, 1st Infantry Brigade, 2nd Infantry Brigade, and 3rd Infantry Brigade, Tank Regiment, engineering companies, armored reconnaissance, to mention but a few. I think for us this is one of the most significant points to make, because even when we go to commemorate in Delville Wood, Atlapata, we talk about these things, that we had our own soldiers. We had both black and white, but the black soldiers were not armed. They could not be armed because people feared that they would turn those guns against them. So indeed, they died with their boots on, but without fighting back. That is why when we talk about South Africa, we talk about a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic South Africa. you.